finally arrived, everyone. The new Astro Power Box controller from SVBONY. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this device has to offer, and in this video I'm going to run through all the features on this box. I'm going to run through what's included with this device, and with any luck we'll get this all set up on my rig and have a little test run, hopefully an image session, but if weather doesn't permit, at the very least we'll get a little test run out of it. So thank you very much for joining me. Let's have a closer look at the SV241 Pro. So very warm welcome and welcome back to Cosmos Astro, everyone. Hope you're all well. So I want to kick off by saying I have not been giving this to review in any way. I'm not getting any backhanders. I forked out for this out my own pocket. So whatever I say, whether it be good or bad, it's going to be truthful. I think it's mostly going to be good though. The SV241, the smaller version that came out earlier on in the year, I was quite impressed with. So I can't see if this is going to be any different, but of course we will see what happens. Roll with the punches as and when we get to them. It's fresh out of the box, so you know I don't know what this is all about. Don't know how easy it is to set up or whatever. But stick around, find out, and hope you enjoy the video. So let's start by finding out where you can get one of these from and how much it's going to cost you. Ooh. So I bought this device directly from SVBONY, and the reason I did that was because it wasn't available anywhere else at the time. However, since I've purchased it, it has started to end up on Amazon. And I say started, I've went over to the US side of things and it doesn't seem to be available on the US Amazon. I haven't checked any others. It may start appearing on other Amazon sites, but you know, at present it's not available in the US. Don't know why. I'm not saying it won't end up available. You know, most if not all SVBONY stuff ends up on Amazon. So I suppose watch this space. I'll keep a lookout. If it ends up coming available, I will put a link in the description. However, great news for anyone who lives in the United Kingdom. It's available for £149.99, which I think is a great price. I will leave a link in the description for this. Please be aware, I am affiliated to Amazon, so any purchase made via the link, I do get a very, very small kickback. I'm not affiliated to SVBONY. If you can't get it off Amazon and you wanted it right now, you have to go over here. So there is a couple of packages here. I'll go over to this package here first. Now, I think it's worth pointing out, I was prompted at the checkout to, if I wanted to pay a small export-import charge. I opted to do that. I think it was about £14 or something. And the reason I went for that is because earlier on in the year I was stung with quite a big charge. I didn't see it coming. It seems to be the normal thing now. You're getting charges, and it was nice for them to actually prompt that. If you want to get this package, you can get the box by itself, or you can get a couple of boxes, or you can get the Pro and the one that come earlier in the year, the power and USB hub, which is nice, bit of option there. I went for the other deal, and the reason I've gone for this was I wanted some dual heater bands anyway, so I thought, yeah, why not? I wasn't interested in the bag, but yeah, that's included anyway. I'll show you that in a minute. It was still under £200 with a little bit of discount. Without the discount, it was just over £200. I think that's still a great price, to be honest. So with that being all said, let's open the box and see what's included with this device. Okay, let's dive in. Heater bands in these boxes, not going to bother showing you them, I'll just put them to one side, but I will show you the bag, of course. Doesn't seem to be bad quality at all. Yeah, it's a good quality little bag. A few compartments in there. Not sure what I'm actually going to stick in this, to be all fairness. I'm sure I'll find some stuff in there. There was one little thing, a couple of bits of thread hanging off here. It's not coming loose or anything. I think it's just a bit of over thread. But yeah, quality, happy days. We'll put that to one side. Also come with some stickers. Kids are going to love these, of course. I quite like this one here. Little spaceman chilling out on a cushion with his telescope. Awesome. Right, moving on to the box. So, of course, device, we'll run on to that in due course. Put that to one side. What was nice to see was this little thing, which is the dovetail mounting foot. Now, the last device that came out earlier on the year didn't come with a mounting foot, so I had to source one myself off Amazon and secured that on with the 1/4 inch hexi bolt. So it is nice to see that. Also comes with a couple of screws in here. Put them on one side and we'll fix that on it in a bit. Also comes with a L-shaped Allen wrench. So if we lift this off, we are presented with some cables, of course. So first one, power cable. This here is a cigarette lighter type jobby with the 5.5 2.5 connector to connect into the device. Also PC interface cable, which is a USB type B to type A, I believe, 1 meter long. There's also 3 power cables, and these are the 5.5 2.1. Two of them is half a meter long cables, and the other is a 1 meter long cable. Nice to see a few of them. By the way, these cables, they all feel very good quality, all fairness, quite robust, I think, in my opinion. And a couple more things. One of these is a humidity and temperature probe. Now, a few years back, I think it was about 4 or 5 years back, I bought this device, and you had to buy the sensor separate, so it is very nice to see that has been included. And also there's a temperature probe, which I believe fits just in between the scope and the heat band. So it'll be interesting to see how that works later. And of course, the good old instruction manual. So quite a nice amount of stuff included with this device. So it's nice to see it all included. So what I'll do now, we'll work our way around this and see what it's got to offer. Start off with the underbelly of this, presented with a number of holes. In the centre here is the 1/4 inch hole. Of course, like you've already seen from the small device, I secured that using a 1/4 inch hexi bolt, so that is an option. However, we're going to be using two of the M4 holes, 4 in total. For now, we're just going to mount it there, so I'll do that. Super, that went on easy enough. So next I want to talk about the build quality of this. So this feels solid, really robust, nice solid metal body all round. Everything seems to be aligned properly. Nothing hanging off, nothing loose. So yeah, feels very nice indeed. So on this side of the hub, we've got the USB 3B interface for the PC. Also we've got the DC input, which is the 5.5 2.5 connector, which is 12 volt 10 amps. And also we've got the 5 volt and 12 volt indicators here. So moving around to here, we are moving on to the USB interface side of things. So each of these interfaces, they have an output capacity of 5 volt 2.5 amps. And as far as I can gather, they're all data transfer and power delivery capable. So a closer look at this, the USB-C 1, 2 and 5 USB slots, they operate at USB 2 specs, and the USB 3 and 4 ports, they operate at USB 3 specs. And again, as far as I can gather, these can all be toggled on and off via software, so you've got full control of them. I'm not quite sure why the USB 1, 2 and 5 ports are separated. I'll look into that, but at the moment I'm not 100% sure why that's happened. If we flip around again, we are presented with the 5.5 2.1 connected outputs, all DC, 12 volt 6 amp. So if we look a bit closer here, we've got one port that's always on, and then ports 1 to 5, these are all switched. Which again, greater control compared to the baby brother here, which when this was on, all these ports were live and there was no way to turn them on and off. The only way to do this was to actually pull the cable out. So last but not least, if we flip it around to this side of things, we presented with, first of all, a port, which is again DC 5.5 2.1 connector. And this is a regulated port, so it's controllable via software again, and this can be regulated between 0 to 15 volts, 3 amps. Next two ports are PWM 1 and 2 interface. These receive a RCA type connection, and these are 12 volt 6 amp. And these last two ports, these are for the temperature and humidity sensor, and of course the temperature probe. Finally, we do have a bit of peace of mind when attaching our expensive equipment here to this device. The 241 Pro does have a number of safety features such as overcurrent, overvoltage and undervoltage protection, along with a few others. Right then, hopefully I've covered everything, or at least most of the important stuff anyway. So let's move on to setting this bad boy up. I'll point out that I'm not using the SIR tonight. It's unplugged. It's just on there. I haven't been bothered to take it off the rig yet. So let's get in here. So I'm utilising two of the DC output ports, one for the camera and one for the mount. Down at the USB side of things, again using two, one for the camera, one for the mount. Up the top, utilising these ports for the dual heater bands, so one for the guide scope and the main scope. And then in these ports I've got the humidity and temperature probe just hanging out there, or sensor, whatever you want to call it. And then I've got the temperature probe for the dual heater band, which I believe just slots in like so. Happy days. So at the bottom, of course, power. We need power, otherwise it's not going to work. And then I've got the PC interface, and that is over to the mini PC. It's plugged into my USB repeater cable here, and then I've got my Ethernet cable, Cat7, going back to my office, so we can connect that later on to remote desktop. Right, so let's jump in the office and get all set up on the computer here. The first thing I've done is made sure that my ASCOM drivers are up to date on the mini PC, so I've hopped over here and they are all up to date. And then I went over to SVBONY and download the drivers for the device itself. So I went to the top ends here and went to support, software driver, Windows, and then it's just at the top there, enables N.I.N.A platform to detect and communicate. So I downloaded that. There is somewhere else you can go as well, so if I just hop back and go onto the product page itself, it's just down here next to where subheadings here where the review, specs, etc. is. Go and download. Yeah, there it is again. Alright, so let's hop over to N.I.N.A. Down to the switches menu here and go up to the drop down menu, and if you've done this right, there should be ASCOM driver for SVBONY switch listed there. So we'll go on that and then just go onto the settings menu, and here a little box will appear with what you can actually edit and label how you see fit depending on what you got plugged into what port. So I've got COM4 up there. I actually know that's right. There's also COM6. Now if you're not sure what COM port is, I'm sure you know, but I'll show you anyway. Device manager on your computer, it'll tell you. If you're still not sure, just unplug something and it'll disappear. Plug it back in, it'll reappear. I know that COM4 is the 241. In the DC output port 1, I have got, of course, the camera, so I'm going to put that in. Port 2, got the mount. So earlier on I mentioned about the USB ports being able to individually turn them on and off. Now I haven't realised until I've gone here, you can only power on and off 3 at a time, so ports 1 to 3 and 4 to 6. That'll explain why the USB 2 ports were sort of separated. So is the USB-C, then port 1 and 2 of the USB 2 will be under this area, ports 1 to 3, and then of course the USB 3, the 2 ports, and the last remaining USB 2 will be USB 4 to 6 on here. So I have got the mount and the camera in 4 and 6, so I'm going to put that in there, and I'm also going to put in what ports they're at. So next we have the PWM 1 and 2 ports, because I've got my dual heater bands in there. So on here again I'm going to just put in guide scope or guide, and then in this one main. Once you're happy with that, I'm just going to press OK. So next I'm going to connect this, so I'm just going to switch it on, and we have this all popped up. So this is automatically defaulted to all on. So down here we've got the master switch. We can turn it all off if we want, where it says time sequence open close switch. Yeah, and of course we can do the same, we can turn it on if we wanted. However, I'm not going to do it. We're going to individually turn everything on and obviously leave some off. So camera going to go on, and the mount, and obviously we want to switch on the USB ports. And then again we can control the dual heater bands. So I've noticed this actually says 0 to 253 steps at the bottom here. I read in the instruction manual it was 255, so I'm not sure which one it is. I'm not course it's only 2 steps, so I don't think it really matters too much on that. Of course this one here, it's the regulator one. We've got nothing attached to that yet, but because like I mentioned earlier, it goes up to 0 to 15 volts. So let's give these a little set. I'm going to maybe put them up to, I don't know, 130, and to lock that in I'll just press the tick, and of course that's changed there. So do that again, 130, and lock that in, and again we can do the same on this one. At the top here we've got all our probe data, so I've got the ambient temperature, humidity, dew point, etc. Also got power, watts, voltage at the top as well, so you can keep an eye on that. Not a bad interface at all, quite straightforward and easy to use. One thing I don't like about this is the USB switches. I don't like the fact there's only 2 switches there. I think there should be more control over each port rather than just having one switch for 3 ports and then again, you know, for the other 3 ports. Yeah, I don't like that at all, to be honest. Okay, so we're going to get cracking with an image session now. Hopefully the clouds stay away. It is clear at the moment, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, I'll let you know how it's all gone for me in the morning. For you guys very shortly. So I actually ended up doing a couple of nights. The first night was in fact a whitewash, but I pushed through and just kept the rig running for a few hours just to simulate an image session. Second night, however, very different. I got a full 7-hour image session in with an hour at the end to fix a little problem that I was having with the SV241 Pro. Wish I could say it was all plain sailing, but unfortunately not the case. So over the course of the 2 evenings I had this running, the temperature probe was shown up as the lens temperature being negative 127 degrees Celsius, which of course is absolute nonsense. I also think there might have been some issue with the humidity and temperature sensor as well. It was fluctuating and showing data, but there was something amiss, and the reason I say that is when I checked the rig, it was soaking, which isn't unusual at this time of year, but the heat bands felt like they've been dipped in water, and I just couldn't shake that feeling that they should have kicked in a lot sooner than what they actually did, which was the last half hour of the image session. So I cut the image session short by an hour and decided to focus on the issue. I re-downloaded, reinstalled the drivers, had a little quick check of this, make sure there's no loose cables, etc. Fired up again, and yeah, the issue was still there. So shut all down, I emailed SVBONY, and of course it's early days, you know, I'm going to be waiting for a reply on that, but I woke up this morning and I decided to be a bit proactive, switch it all on, fire it away, and it seems to be working. I wish I could tell you what was wrong and how I fixed the problem. One of them things, I don't know if there's an issue inside the box, maybe a loose wire. I don't know if it's just the fact it's brand new and it's having that brand new device teething problems. I don't know if N.I.N.A was a problem. Mark my words, I'll be keeping a close eye on this, and you know, once bitten twice shy scenario going on here. And if this issue happens again, I'll update you all and let you know what's going on. But it seems to be working, which is not a bad thing, you know, but it shouldn't be doing that in the first place. So okay, well, I don't like leaving things on a negative if I can really help it. Yes, I've had a little issue with this, but that has not put me off this device. As long as this is not like a product line issue, you know, and it's just an isolated issue and it's not going to come back, you know, this is going to be really popular on the Astro market, just like the last SV241. There is loads for this to offer people, loads of capacity. Yes, I was a little annoyed with the USB situation, but just a minor thing. There's lots of accessories that come with this, so you can get this set up straight away, and the software is easy to use and set up, and at a pretty competitive price tag as well, may I add, compared to other devices that are out there on the market. Well, if you're still watching at this point, thank you so much. It is much appreciated. Hope you got something out of the video. If you have, please like the video. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would be brilliant as well. And I'm going to leave you with this work in progress of WR134. So until next time, everyone, wish you all the very best, and of course, clear skies.